live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Marfoogle News is so live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. What is going on, guys? It's Adam aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Tonight, we have a ton for you. So make sure you guys know, nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably from mine or Dex's opinion or anyone else with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, we, of course, have a lot to cover. With the last few days, we have actually had several issues. I just had to get a new modem and new equipment. In fact, they actually had to change a box on my house from Comcast. So I do apologize, but when you are a YouTuber, you are your own employer, and of course you have your own setup. So there's no company basically fixing it before every show. So thank you guys for being patient. It was very frustrating since the last couple days we actually had all of the shows prepared and ready. In fact, if you go back over the last couple days, if you did miss my announcements or my kind of mini, old school shows, you can actually go to the website, marfooglenews.com, and see any of the articles that we covered over the last couple days. There are some important ones that I'm going to hit again now that we actually have this on. I will go say what's up to chat again. If you're not getting notifications, make sure you get them from us. Let me turn this down a little bit. Hold on. You can actually sign up at marfooglenews.com and get our own notifications. They're push notifications that are directly to your phone, so then you can't say, oh, well, I got it on Tuesday for the Saturday show. Of course, that makes a huge difference, having our own notification system. And then, of course, if you want to follow along tonight, all of the articles are going to be on tonight's show on our website, marfooglenews.com. You just click, of course, look for tonight's thumbnail, just the beginning. We Are History. When you click that, you'll see that we have backed up every single thing that we are going to cover here today with a source, bibliography, or a clarification. So again, if it does have a source, you'll know where it's from, which direction it leans, whatever you want to find out about it, it's all going to be there on the website. On the right side, if you want to support us in any way, of course, you guys are honestly amazing supporters already. If you want to go a step above, on the right side, you can do that with any of the affiliates or PayPal or Patreon is all on that size of the page. Okay, thank you. Let's bring in Dex. Dex is my co-host and my internet brother. Dex, what is going on tonight, and how are you doing?
Hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing well, and glad to see you're back on the air, and everything's working much better now.
We are live, right?
Oh, yeah, we are. Everything looks good.
So the other day, by the way, Z2M, thank you, says, if you are on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. And you're on D-Live telling people that. That's awesome. End Times, sup, Marf? Much love. Hey, End Times, thank you so much for being here. You guys, I don't know if you saw the other night, I actually did a 15-minute short video over on Marfoogle News. And Dex didn't even interrupt me. And it was so funny because I was doing a show just like normal, and I was watching chat in my Restream box, and they were like, he's late. And somebody else is like, how is he late? And I actually said to them, I'm like, actually, we were on time. We were to the minute of our notification and to YouTube notification and Twitter. And then we didn't realize until the very end, or I didn't realize, he didn't want to interrupt me in case I was recording it. Because in the past, I've usually just hit record at the beginning if we've had problems. And then if not, we can at least put it out. I didn't record it. So Dex didn't interrupt me, and I did a full 15-minute show. And it was even responding to people in chat, and we weren't even live. That was pretty bad. Dex, that was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. I thought it was the right thing. You never know.
No,
if you would have been recording, and if I didn't interrupt you, you wouldn't have been recording.
No, and
so,
we've had that exact situation where you actually did interrupt, and I was recording, and I basically the show must go on is in my opinion, and if I have it recording, then I just go ahead and do the show with no one watching. I mean, heck, I started this channel with no one watching. We didn't always have 5 to 15,000 people watching. That wasn't a thing in the very beginning. It was 2 or 3 people, some of whom are still here, which is pretty amazing. You know, it could be a simple opinion about something, not even, you know, something extreme, and people will tune out. They go, I don't agree with that. You know, you like the color green, and I like the color blue. Whatever it may be, and then those people have actually stuck with me this whole time. So let's get right into the news. I'll go over to the chat here in a second. This is a live show. We're going to catch up with some stuff. We're behind, obviously. Pretty crappy situation the last couple days. So thank you guys for sticking through all of the muck. Mama of 6, Z2M. I'm switching back to Zippy Moons. Thanks the mods. Hey, Z2M, Zippy Moons, that's fine. Whatever you want to call yourself, you are welcome and awesome here. Priscilla R, I may need some help from Dex, not sure yet. Priscilla R, let us know, and we've got your back. The Truth is Out There, thank you for gifting a sub to the Clear Viewer. And Fairy Spirit 2112, thank you. Nuclear War, thank you for being here. End Times, sticking with you always. Hey, thank you. I know you stick with a lot of people too. Like there are people that I see all over DLive supporting people. Thank you for supporting me. You know you don't have to. And again, I do appreciate it because you know me. I am all over the platform supporting people. So I appreciate that a lot. Like I see it, and I see other creators, and I see other people just going around and supporting everybody, and that's really freaking awesome. Sammy Lee, hey, haven't seen you in a minute. Nice to see you. Teresa TLC, Jumpmaster, Batriska, thank you guys all for coming tonight. Ilea, hey, another one who has stuck with it, even if we've disagreed on some things. Stuck with it no matter what. Woman of Wonder, God bless Texas, thank you. Dustin Westphalen, you and Dex rock, much love. And then Chicky R, thank you so much, says, I am so glad to get to watch a live show and not a replay. Sending love to all. Patrick Ryan Hockenberry, thank you for being the newest Patreon pledger. And then Julie Collum, Shanta Yvia, and Dronyon08, thank you for subscribing. Stevage Dawn, Stevage Dawn, thank you for subscribing. Kelge, Aquadon, William Smith, Annette Fowler, Can25151, and Scott Shupp. Welcome to the Foogle fam. All right. Again, you can follow along on the website, marfooglenews.com. I am going to cover some things that are very important. It says a U.S. Navy destroyer challenged China's sweeping South China Sea claims a day after sailing past Taiwan. So I have been in touch with multiple current military and retired military as well. But some of the active Navy personnel that I've talked to right now, some of the active Navy that actually watch my show when they can, said that there is a lot more going on than what is, really being publicized. And they say that they're not too worried, but at the same time, they are making sure to call home every single chance that they get. And then that they've had these weird periods where they're not allowed to call home, and they go to these weird areas in the South China Sea. So I thought that was kind of funky. There's even times, and I don't think it's classified in any way, but there's times where they shut down all comms, and then they go radio silent, and they just kind of float. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and this is all being done, near the South China Sea. What would be the purpose of that? I guess if any current Navy or ex-military could tell me the reason for that, I would think that it would be for radio silence to kind of go undetected. But why would you also turn off the engines and kind of float? Not go anywhere, not sneaking up on something, but actually no cell phones, no nothing, quiet. Don't know. And then they're doing a lot of drills. They're doing a lot of practice runs right now. And not to mention, if you look at the other side, right? If you look at China, they are drilling like crazy. And they are also practicing to possibly take Taiwan. And that has been backed up. That's been backed up by every source there is all across the world. It's not just the U.S., kind of 5 media companies. We're talking about the rest of the world. We actually try to do our due diligence and go outside of the country. Australian news, European news. I've even looked at Brazilian news and, of course, Middle Eastern news. You have to look at all of it and see, why are these 3 saying one thing and then we're saying another? It's very, very odd. There's a lot going on right now, and obviously one thing that any country has to kind of keep is the calm and, keep people from panicking. So I think it's very interesting that the rest of the world is basically seeing the writing on the wall and everybody is kind of calling it out. But of course, the media makes it look like we're not, we're totally fine. Everything is all good. Everything's going to get better. It's all greener on the other side. It says a U.S. warship sailed near Chinese-controlled islands in the South China Sea on Friday, challenging Beijing's sweeping territorial claims for the first time under the new B administration. It says a U.S. Navy Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, the USS John S. McCain, sailed near the disputed Paracel Islands during a routine freedom of navigation operation, or FONUP. The military has so many acronyms, I don't know how they keep track. To assert navigational rights and freedoms, the 7th Fleet spokesman Joe Kelly said in a statement on Friday. It says the Paracels are controlled by China, which has built military outposts on the islands to reinforce its contested sovereignty claims. Thank you. Somebody called it like it is. That is a military outpost. Do you guys remember when there was an argument and people argued with me if that was even military? That was just an oil rig, or that they were just doing a runway to claim that land or that sea? They are trying to lock down all of the waterways. This is a key factor in any conflict. If you own the waterways and the actual, routes to get supplies through, you win. That is why they are trying to get these waterways. But with the South China Sea, of course, that's a big deal too, because they can actually claim 200 miles out, I think, or 100 miles out from where that land is. So if they put land, they literally took dirt and sand from the bottom and dug it with special boats and piled up an island. Not only that, they made it into an actual fortified island with anti-air, everything. Not to mention tanks, not to mention, of course, runways with, of course, jets. You've got their Navy parked there, which, by the way, they have beat us in Navy size by over 100 ships now. It was at 70 just a month and a half, 2 months ago. Now they're over 100 ships bigger than our Navy, the U.S. Navy. So that means that they're bigger than any Navy. I believe that means they're the largest Navy in the world. But yeah, nothing's going on, folks, and they're building $1 million, practice sites that look exactly like Taiwan. In fact, their entire government is replicated in China, and they're practicing on it how to take it over. So, but nothing's going to happen. Are we even going to step in? Or are they doing all of this so they just kind of lay down and go, okay, we're yours. We're going to go by your laws now. And, if we commit a crime, we just get taken out. And by the way, anything starting with the word D is just gone. It says each of the 3 claimant parties, the 7th Fleet said, imposed, quote, unlawful restrictions on innocent passage by requiring peaceful foreign military vessels to provide advance notice and seek permission before sailing through the territorial waters. This is something that's been going on for 2.5 years, almost 3. Of course, these islands are now, people try to claim them. Taiwan, Vietnam, all of these other countries try to claim it as well. As far as what they are doing, they're stepping in here and they're saying you can't pass. This has been happening since before they even finished the islands. In fact, if you went in on a passenger plane or a regular plane, they would say, please turn around now. This is China property. You have to turn around. This is China airspace. Get the hell out. In fact, as old back as when we didn't know what was going on, nobody knew what was really happening. I think even like 60 Minutes or 2020 went in there with the plane and had some guy, they tried to get in there and they were turned around. This is a big deal. Them grabbing these waterways, and now we're seeing it in other places in the world. Of course, the U.S. has all of these military bases all around the world. China is now following behind. They're doing the same thing, only they are going for strategic resources. This is going to be another grab. We're not done fighting over, the world. The world is not done. The borders are not done yet. Especially with India and China. I mean, you've got so many different countries facing off with these people. It's pretty nuts. And then this, of course, we kind of touched on in the crappy old school videos, but wanted to cover this again. It says, nuclear war with China or Russia is a real possibility, U.S. Navy Admiral warns. It says nuclear war between the United States and Russia or China is a real possibility because Moscow and Beijing are aggressively challenging world peace in ways not seen since the Cold Conflict. It says a 4-star admiral warns. Admiral Charles A. Richard, which I told you guys yesterday, who heads the U.S. Strategic Command or STRATCOM, oversees America's arsenal of nuclear weapons, is saying this. So he is saying that this is what is going on, and that includes. This is why he is so stressed out and expressed alarm about this is because of the cyber attacks and threats in space. If you put these two together, you have solar winds and, of course, why we needed Space Force and now DOD just coming out a few months ago. So we're not even at the event they are looking at right now. The DOD came out and said that China and Russia have weaponized space. Not to mention, we have actually covered every experimental launch that they've done, and also the mystery spy satellites that they actually believe are space weapons. Not to mention some of the weird things that have happened here on Earth, like assault carriers catching fire 3 months after another country's assault carrier caught fire. Not in battle, but actually in port. Both of them. Amphibious assault carriers. An eye for an eye. A tooth for a tooth. And they stayed on fire for 5 days. Even though they're made of steel. There was no accelerant. The gas tank didn't blow up. Nothing happened. So how does something metal that doesn't have frilly things to catch on fire stay on fire for 5 days? I don't know. But you guys can take a guess. It's not anything from space. I wouldn't say that. It's not some sort of microwave weapon in space. Direct to you on demand. And you're gone forever. Scooby-Doo, right? Thank you, Lisa K23. My YouTube didn't work earlier. Stay connected. Thank you for being here when you can. M. Menching says, longtime listener, forever Foogle family. Blessed to have been a part of this for years. Blessed to have you here. M. Menching and Zippy Moons and everybody else, Iggy Mom, all you guys are great. Again, at some point we need to go back to basics and just hang out with everybody. Mrs. Cummings, thank you so much for your support as well. You're the man. Glad Comcast got you up and running. I actually had to make them get me up and running. They said nothing was wrong, even though it was dropping out. And they did exactly what I told Dex they would do. I forced them to give me a new modem, and I knew that was the problem. They can remotely check things, and they says, "Oh, well, we sent packets or whatever," and I'm gonna tell you I sent packets, and I got all the packets back, so we're good. And then, of course, they leave, and then you don't have internet. I knew it was the modem, and the guy, they always, of course, have to be right about everything. But after some arguing, I got a new one. Vault 111, good to see you, Marf, and all mods. Thank you for coming. Vault, if you guys haven't checked out, is a beautiful musician, beautiful pianist. Thank you so much for coming through. Annie Waugh, Marky Sparky, thank you guys. And then, of course, Seraphina, 1717. Thank you for the very odd and awesome donation there. Doc Bill, Russian device to drill for water on the moon. Russian device to drill for water on the moon. We'll be getting into the space there as far as the moon, that we actually have a story here. And then Gil Broussard says X inbound and can be seen after February 20, 2021. Hugs, Dex, hugs, Adam. That was Cheryl Beth Carter. In fact, I think later on this week, we're going to talk about that. And then we have the Russian envoy to U.S. And this is an envoy speaking to us. I don't believe sane U.S. generals really consider nuclear war with Moscow. basically saying we would be crazy to go to nuclear war with them. It says earlier in the day, Russia announced that a 5-year extension to the New START agreement, the last accord limiting the nuclear arsenals of Washington and Moscow, had entered into effect. It says Russian ambassador to the U.S. Anatoly Antonov stated that he doesn't believe that any sane American general is really considering a full-scale nuclear military conflict with Moscow. It says, quote, I believe that such an idea visits the heads of some politicians who are not well, Antonov added. It says the Russian envoy said international accords like the New START treaty help prevent certain politicians in the U.S. from pushing the world over the edge of a nuclear confrontation. He further commented on the recently reached extension to the last remaining nuclear arms reduction treaty between the two countries, saying that it would not affect the number of monitoring inspections mandated under the New START. And of course, New START is this treaty. Antonov went on to say that Russia and the U.S. will continue to work on arms control issues, noting that the job will be, quote, extremely difficult and complicated. According to him, the talks on the matter will not only touch on only existing issues, but also emerging ones, such as cutting-edge weapon systems. And it says that the envoy named the U.S. missile defense systems in Europe, short and medium range missiles, global strike capacities. Gosh, man, what these guys are run-on sentence complete. Global strike capabilities, hypersonic weapons, and future space armaments as matters that are likely to be an agenda of future talks. Just so you know, I actually I won a lot of awards for writing, and this is just, look at this. This sentence starts here, and then comma, 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 chameleon. No, 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 no. But seriously, that's horrible writing. Somebody would run out of breath. Somebody would choke on a Cheerio trying to read that. Is this a Russian article? Sputnik!
Yeah, it's Sputnik.
I knew it! Sorry. I digress. So that even makes more sense too. It's Sputnik saying, oh, yeah, they always say this stuff, right? I think that if we were going to get into a nuclear event, it would be totally unexpected, and it would be, the public and the citizens wouldn't know exactly what they would be knowing up above. Of course, nobody wants mutually assured destruction, and that's why, I guess, that this hypersonic thing is coming into play. The first country to have it, if they wanted to, if one country had hypersonic and one didn't, and I think we had it all along, or they didn't, they thought we had it, or maybe they stole our plans. If you have hypersonic and the other guys don't, you could knock them out before they would even know. I that's what I think, at least. Maybe they would detect it last second and blast it. Maybe they're trying to get to the point. Obviously, if you were trying to win in a battle like that, you would want it to get there so fast they would have no time to react. Otherwise, if they launch all theirs, it's like a duel where you're, got them both pointed to the head and you both pull at the same time. There's no point to that. Or, nobody wants to die, right? But unfortunately, if that happened, it would be horrible. And it would possibly destroy the entire world if they say the scientists are right, and it would send a cloud around the earth. So who would want that? Why, who would benefit from that? Nobody. But if you could knock out all of Russia or knock out all of the U.S. without affecting anything else, then yeah, they would. I think they would do it, or at least somebody. The thing is we are so far away from WW2 that most of that generation has now passed on or is in their 90s or in their hundreds. So people don't realize that there is true evil out there. There was true evil back then. There is true evil now. We are just waiting to see one of them in power. Some say that NK Kim, that he is it. I think his dad was even more insane. But there are people like that. That are in sheep's clothing, that are all around us. We just don't know when one of them is going to get the right position and power. That's the thing. We're waiting for one of these the next the next Adolf. So pretty crazy stuff.
Well, I think what's interesting though, when we think about the hypersonic and you think about the like an EMP or things like that, right? We've got hypersonic moving across the Earth from a long distance in a fast amount of time. We now have more and more satellites up in the sky. The real question is, when do they combine the two, where you've got a launch from space at a hypersonic speed? So you don't take off from ground, you take off from the atmosphere.
Sorry,
because that shortens it even. That takes it from, okay, I can get there in 20 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, so I can get there in 2 minutes. You have no time to react.
What if, next they're going to have a hypersonic missile on a hypersonic plane. So then I guess you just blink and Flash just screwed you. Honestly, though, we've covered that, right, Dex? So exactly what Dex said is that they are launching it from these planes. They're doing all the testing so they can be in high altitude, non-detected, and boom, hypersonic, get it, hit it before they even have a chance. What if they knew all of the locations to strike in a country that would be able to trigger the retaliation, right? What if they had, spies that or the secret information about if you hit these 17 locations specifically, they wouldn't be able to retaliate and then take them out. That is something that was talked about with us. Like say I would love to say that the football with the codes, that's the only way to launch. But if the president is gone or something, there are backup plans and nobody knows what they are because they're classified. So, for instance, they're heading our way and the president doesn't do it. What happens then? Or they're headed our ways. Is there automatic AI basically setting, like, if they are sending him this way, would it automatically do it? So say if the president wasn't around or something else. There is, and we don't know what those are. Some think that Solar Winds may have gotten into some of that information, so that's another thing. What if they hacked into the retaliation programs? Because it is all computerized now. Pretty insane stuff. And some of the military we've talked to. In fact, we met I won't tell you his name here, but about 2.5 years ago, he's a lower-ranking soldier, but what his position was protecting the missile silos. So his job, he said, it was the most boring job ever. Sits there 12 hours a day and basically just watches it. In fact, we've met at least 3 or 4 people that are in the same kind of position. They sit there all day. They might watch TV or whatever else. It's pretty boring. They sit there and they guard these sites. But he said, all of a sudden, now they are taking it super serious, that they are standing guard. They're checking on them all the time, saying basically, be ready for anything. And I think that that's on over the last 4 or 5 months. So what changed? Hunter Bear Ian, thank you so much. Yo, Adam, love the show. Love all the fam. It is a great time to be alive. Hunter Bear Ian. Again, it's like I said the other day, we're witnessing history. Out of all the time that humans been alive, we are alive for electricity. We're alive for technology. We're in a new era. I mean, this is insanity. And we don't know the long-term effects of all of this. Adam Dex, Mod Squad, and Foogle Fam, I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Enjoy the life like it's 1999. Hashtag Team Humanity. You guys know who that is. Susan Donahue, thank you so much. Again, thank you, and thank you. Can't say it enough. If you guys want to protect yourself against an EMP, which we have I don't know how much writing on the wall you really have to read to see through what's going on. But again, look at what bills or look at what executive orders were just signed. This is kind of like a no-brainer to me. This same company has not only been contracted with different agencies like DHS, DOD, but now they're officially on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid, which again, we've talked about moving to Texas just because they are so much of a better place to be right now. Again, go and check this out. It protects against all 3 phases and solar flares. So if we have a Carrington event, like a natural one, this would also help protect against that. It grounds the signal, before it can actually fry your device. So again, this isn't just your average surge protector. These are seriously professional military-grade hardware. The car device, you can actually wire in yourself. Other ones, you actually have to have a legitimate electrician wire this into your house. So this is a real deal thing, but it does real deal protection. So again, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. There's different devices for different things. Again, they are still running the contest. So go to marfooglenews.com/contest and you could win one of these. They are not cheap because they are a real product that does what it says, and they are backed up and military tested. So if you've been waiting or you can't afford one, this is your chance. We always beg them to do different contests and giveaways. In fact, there's a ton of Foogle fan members that have gotten them through these. So again, go to marfooglenews.com/contest. Don't wait. Again, multiple ways to enter, including daily bonus entries. All right. And then Dex, what do you think about these B1s deploying to Norway for the first time? Now, obviously,
it's definitely posturing for sure, right?
So, again, this is something that I'll just read the first part of this, but this is something that my family in Norway has noticed that they've been flying over a lot more. It says the U.S. Air Force is preparing to deploy boomers to Norway for the first time. A detachment of B-1Bs, accompanied by more than 200 personnel, is set to arrive at the country's Orland, Maine Air Station in the near future, as U.S. military intensifies its focus on strategically important Arctic region. It says U.S. European Command EUCOM announced today that the advance team was about to head to Orland ahead of the B-1Bs touching down, and it says, but it did not say specifically when the bombers would arrive. It says there are a report that the aircraft could make their way across the Atlantic later this week. It says while the first airmen have already arrived in the country, the aircraft and airmen assigned to this bomber task force will also all come from the 7th Bomb Wing at Dyess Air Force Base in Texas. So, Texas, of course, Texas is the one coming from the Lone Star State and going to kick some ass. These things are scary high tech, and again, this is yet another sign that they are setting up all around the world. People think that it's just, 1 second we just go do it. No, I think that you have to set up hardcore. I mean, this is, if we were planning or projecting that we were going to get into a world conflict, all sides would be practicing, drilling, and from what I said 2 years ago, and I still believe is true, is they're almost giving each other time before this happens. That sounds crazy, but I almost think that there's people above this that want this to play out. Doc Bill, U.S. to deploy B-1 boomers to Norway for the first time near Russia's sprawling naval bases. Not only that, we've got some more stuff here too about, near things like that. Isn't that freaking crazy? And Full of Hope says, does EMP Shield work for UK 220 volt? I believe they must have some sort of option or an adapter for that, but you would want to go to empshield.com or contact Andrew. In fact, if you go over to that contest, you could try to win one for free, but also go over and ask Andrew, because that contest is actually telling you to go over to Andrew's channel. He's one of the experts on it. So make sure to go ask him, and I'm sure he will answer your question right away. Love your EMP.
They did get permission to ship internationally last year. I remember that happening.
That's right.
When they announced it. So I would assume UK is on the list and more than likely an option.
Yeah, and I'm 99% sure that is something, because we've talked about the UK. The UK had all of its satellites go down last year. Of course, they're an ally. You're talking about the same stuff could happen over there as well. We are more centrally focused here because I live here, but again, that is something that could very well happen as well. You had massive power outages. I guess it's more, I really want somebody in Europe to be our reporter. I've been looking for that too, because I want to know what you guys are going through too. There are things that are happening in Europe right now that are not being reported here. That I know, because with our VPN, we'll go out and look at the news, and it's like it gets filtered out. None of our main legacy media covers it, and I just think that that's insane. Like all the stuff that's going on in Germany, everything just getting filtered. Look this up. Thea at the AI group. Arizona Mountain Sky, I will. Thank you for letting me know that. And then West Romans 10:9-13 says, love my EMP shield for my house and my car. Oh, yeah. Well, hey, thank you, Wes. I hope if you didn't go through us, I hope you supported a good creator. Again, you can also support other creators that way as well. Thank you. 95, a dream changed my life, predicted the sex and number of my kids. Paraplegic and wasn't supposed to have kids. China, Russia invaded, fighting each other for U.S. China killed citizens. We prayed Russia got to us first. So Gen X Voice says that the in 95 a dream basically predicted everything, and also had a dream about China and Russia invading, fighting each other for the U.S. That's a trip. That is a trip, Gen X. I had a weird dream that's almost similar. We have to have an episode about that kind of stuff. It says operational readiness, and this is what they've been saying for the last 2 years. They've been putting people everywhere. Remember Alaska? They're putting a long-range artillery in Alaska. They're putting all this stuff, and they do it one step at a time so you don't notice. They go, oh, it's just this drill or that drill. But then we never see the headlines of them retracting this stuff. They're putting stuff all over the place. They've got troops everywhere. We're getting ready. And I'm sorry, people can disagree with me all they want. That's fine. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. It says operational readiness and our ability to support allies and partners and respond with speed are critical to combined success. Air Force General Jeff Harrington, commander of U.S. forces in Europe and Africa, said in a statement. You see that? Like, we're one of the few countries that has our military in all over the world. I mean, this is one of the generals for Europe and Africa. Our military is absolutely everywhere. It's insane. It says we value the enduring partnership we have with Norway and look forward to the future opportunities to bolster our collective defense. What a trip. And then we, of course, have elevated radiation levels. This was a big deal, and I couldn't get this message out the other day because of the dang internet. So I would heavily pay attention to this, and this may just completely blow over, but what I am saying is this seemed very sus. It's very suspect to me, and if you didn't know what sus means, my 14-year-old taught me that. Elevated radiation levels were detected in the containment building of a research neutron reactor at the National Institute of Standards and Technology in Gaithersburg. So what happened here is, again, I talked about this in my previous video. They said that during a routine restart or something, they had elevated radiation levels. They didn't tell anybody in the neighborhood. Nobody knew until the news came knocking and said, hey, did you guys know about this? They didn't tell anybody, which is weird to me. The only reason the news knew is because somebody called them personally that worked there. I found that out. So, or at least supposedly that's what happened. And then they didn't say anything. And then when they were, what I'm guessing is they had to respond to it. They said, oh, well, it was in a contained area and it was completely in a contained area and it never went outside that. But then they follow that with, hey, we're going to be monitoring the air and monitoring the entire area. So don't worry if, why would they need to do that if they know for a fact that it did not leave that containment area? I guess it depends on kind of what containment this was. So it says, in response to the alarm, staff followed established procedures and immediately initiated a shutdown of the reactor. Several trained radiation workers were exposed to elevated radiation levels and have been undergoing standard decontamination and evaluation. So just remember in previous events what happened, but what if this was a cyber event that we, just never know? What if this was a test? What if this was practice? They were able to get this reactor shut down. Which, again, this is not a power plant. This is the NIST. This is a research lab, and they were able to do it, if that was the case. So I pay attention to all of these. Again, I always try to remind you That SolarWinds hack that came out is the largest thing that's ever happened in our history. It's like some big force that we yet to know who it was, whether it was us on one side or if it was another country or NK or Russia or China or whoever it is. Could have been one of the Middle East countries. Whoever it was basically had a backdoor to basically everything in our country. Everything in the world. They had access to a lot of the 500, Fortune 500 companies. You're talking about almost every company that you go in and you own a VIP number and have all of your information and they have all of your data. They had the backdoor to all of that. All of the companies that have your credit card on file, they had all that. All of the emergency services, all 5 branches of the military. Can't stop reminding you of that. Protocols as far as emergency response, all of that was accessed. Black Start was accessed, which in the event of a catastrophic power failure, they know exactly how we plan to get power back up, which means they can target each and every step of the way and stop it from going back up. That's why I say get candles, get supplies just in case, because that's responsible. Don't expect the government or police to save you when this happens, especially police. And you may know why by now. Tom McDonald did a awesome line in one of his new songs. He said, call the cops and call for delivery and see which comes first. It's true. Well, what would come first, your pizza or the police? Most likely the pizza. That was a great point. NIST, an agency within the U.S. Department of Commerce, operates a large campus employing thousands of workers in Gaithersburg. The campus operates near Interstate 270, scores of businesses, and several housing communities. So all these people didn't know. That's why I think pay attention to this, because this could tie in later, and I always say, remember these things. Remember this, because I believe it will come back into play. Intruder gained unauthorized access, entered a C-40 jet at Joint Base Andrews, home of Air Force One. How in the world did this happen? This is where, again, Dex, if you want to explain this, this is where, Mr. B and all of those guys, this is where their Air Force Ones are stored. And somebody was able to walk in there?
Exactly. Apparently somebody got in. It's not one of those. But yeah, that's a major breach, and I think what they're doing now is they're going and looking at security, across all bases, not just Andrews, to reevaluate what's happening.
Because it looks like if they were able to do this, what couldn't they get into, right? If they're able to get into an Air Force base where Air Force One is, well, who knows? Maybe they had the code. Maybe they have. Maybe somebody has access to SolarWinds, and I'm not saying this one because we don't know if this guy was just a nut who cut the wire or cut the fence. But think about this with the SolarWinds hack. They had access to programs that actually program. Oh, and do you remember before SolarWinds? Dex, do you remember that before this we had several states that they were hacked into their emergency services, into their police, and even the city utilities? That this is another thing that we covered. Do you want to give a couple examples? Like I remember,
was it Pensacola, Florida? And I think there's a big base there, and there
Louisiana,
was another location in Florida, and someplace in Louisiana. But yeah, they were doing the ransomware style attacks, as well as infiltrating their infrastructure.
And they were doing it in such a way they were actually accessing the top of the chain where they could actually make badges. This is what's crazy is think about every spy movie you've seen. This is what's happening behind the scenes. So they can access the programs. So say you're the hiring manager at the very top who gives clearance out to everybody. Well, they could get in, and this is what they did, and they actually held this stuff ransom. They got access and gave it back but kept kind of a back door to it so they could give access to anybody. So they could give a false identity to, Jane Doe, and then give Jane Doe an actual working pass. They can program a computer to program key cards to get into a base like this. This is just an example. This Louisiana and all this. This was before SolarWinds. This is before we even knew about the big stuff. All these states were getting affected, and they were hitting really specific things like the power company. They were which, by the way, it doesn't take too much common sense to think, why would they want to access the power companies, the database, to where they could give somebody key cards and access to buildings? We're not in kindergarten. We can figure this out. Why would they want to be able to access and duplicate and get the specific information on how to make key cards, identities, badges, and authorization codes for everything from EMS to power companies to utilities? Well, think about it. Anybody with utilities authorization can get into places and unnoticed. If you remember back to September 2001, they actually said that there was a lot of authorized people that they looked back and they're like, this person should have been working for this company. Why were they authorized? And then all of a sudden, free fall. Don't know. But I think that it's pretty obvious why they would want to get authorization codes, key cards, and everything else. As far as this goes, I don't know, but this is right by Air Force One. Is somebody falling asleep watching Netflix? Maybe they were watching Cuties. Who knows? And then, of course, 10 pounds of plastic explosives reportedly missing from Marine Combat Training Base. Not to just, run this home or anything, but wonder how they got in there. Is it starting to stick out? Full of Hope says, I think SolarWinds hack was put out there so when power out, the government can deny grid maintenance failure. They'll blame the hack. That could be. Full of Hope. I'm down for any theory. Because I don't know. I would love to know. I would love to know everything. That's for sure. We have Millions of Little Fish says they have private security at most gates. Yeah, and actually they would be watching Netflix. Hi everyone, wonderful. What's going on? I know that FEMA hires out, but they actually usually they hire from within, or they try to get really qualified ex-military. But yes, you are right about that. Bear Lover 92,000. I would have loved to have been there and seen it firsthand, says the truth is out there. Applebus, what is going on? Says hello to Carolyn Schmidt. Yep, Peoria. Lori D, what is going on? YouTuber. We've got CJ Blaze up in the house. Thank you for modding. Thank you, J Stone, wherever you are. Thank you, WV. Thank you, Trinity. Thank you, Bones. Thank you, Chance. Thank you, April. Thank you, all of the mods that are doing a great job to keep everything peaceful. Ken Backwoods, it's nice to see you here again. Was cracking. I love Beagles. Patty Mabau. Whatever happened to Patty Mayo? Motor Purr. Let's see here. Charlie Abercrombie, thank you so much. It's nice to see you. You've been here a long time. Our Skies today. Hey, how are you doing? Dixie Doe, you've also been here a long time. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys coming out all these times. Let's see here. Lisa K23, type number 3 if your name used. Type number 3 if your name used for fake unemployment. or just type President B. No, just kidding. Goldie 2001, Marfoogle News, the only news I use. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Goldie. I appreciate that. Thank you. Chewy Weather, Recalcitrant Geisy, thank you for the lemons. Mr. Cornholio 44, thank you for 6 lemons. And then, of course, Toadman, thank you as well. Let's see here. Thank you for the lemon as well. And then undergoing decontamination, poor people, says Lisa K23. FTG says call them out. Fight maybe. I can't remember the acronym for that. Blunted Ninja, Marky Sparky, thank you. Out of the Woods, Humpty Dumpty. We've got Trinity Wise. The Truth is Out There says Gaithersburg is not far from D.C. Just saying. Good call. Truth is Out There. Good call. Call them out for truth. Yes. And then I hope you are all doing well. Marfoogle News, number 1. Thank you. Actually, I think we're number 346,482, but it's close. Lisa K, Bling Grammy, I love that name. Stand Strong Woman says, I agree with the end is near. 21 worse than 20. Again, but we got to stay positive. We got to say, hey, no matter what comes our way, we're going to stay positive. Gone Girl, I don't know if you're here. Again, there's some people that are pretty openly just saying, like, I'm stressed out and this is scary. I don't blame you, but at the same time, we really have to keep faith. I don't know if you guys have a faith of some sort. I have a faith with my God. I have a Christian faith, of course. A lot of people say they have faith, but they don't really have faith. You really have to have that hardcore, and it has to be around you too. You have to surround yourself with that. If you don't have a family, like if your significant other isn't, it's much harder to have. It's just like faith is like, in my opinion, faith is like if you are a couple and you both smoke and one of you quit smoking. If the other person is still smoking, it's really hard to quit. Well, faith, I think, is the same way in a way, and I'm just being real. If all the people around you have really deep faith, then it's easier for you to have faith. And faith is really what we need right now, just period. No, it doesn't matter, and it could be it could be any religion, or it could be any positive thought, really. Either way, you need faith in just things are going to go right. Things are going to go positive. And we really have to go look that way right now, because it doesn't look good. But are we going to sit all of 2021 like we did in 2020 and say, the small chatter when you go to the grocery store? How you doing? Oh, as good as I can be. It's 2021, just as much as I can be for 2021. Is that really worth it? Like, are you helping that person or the checker by saying, well, as good as I can be in this thing? I would say next time somebody goes, how are you doing? Say, I'm doing fantastic. And you are going to as well. Let's all do it. Let's just do it. Person to the left of you, say, you are fantastic. And if there's nobody left of you and you're alone, I'm sorry, that is depressing. Just kidding. Robot motherships to launch drone swarms from sea, underwater, air, and near space. Last week, Louisiana-based shipbuilder Metal Shark announced that the U.S. Marine Corps has selected them to develop a long-range unmanned surface vessel, or a LRS. I think it's pronounced LRS. Another acronym that doesn't make sense. An 11-meter robot boat capable of operating autonomously. Thomas the Train, and launching loitering munitions to attack targets at sea and on land. The unmanned boat is just the latest of a series of new platforms for launching drone swarms. So the movies that we've seen, like I think it was Angel Has Fallen with Gerard Butler, the one where he's definitely fallen apart in that one. By then, it's like, how many years do you have as an action hero? But in that one, they show a scene where it's this container, the back of a container that goes and launches these drone swarms. We might see that, especially if we got invaded in any type of way, or if if you're ever in a country that has this kind of stuff, you're going to see these things. And they're these little tiny drones. And again, going back to this is freaky. 10 pounds of plastics explosives reportedly missing. Where do you think this stuff goes? And do you think it's going to be used right away, or do you think it's going to be used later down the road? I don't know if you remember, but we've actually covered several stories where gigantic amounts of stuff has gone missing, and then there's never an update. Dex, do you remember we actually did previous updates or previous stories about things going missing from bases, and then there's never any explanation?
Yeah, and it's funny because when we read this one just now, it made me think of the Humvee. Do you remember the Humvee a little while ago that was taken?
Has there been an update?
There was like a week later, but they never really they did report it, but nobody talked about it. But yeah, it was found in like South LA under a bridge.
Okay, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about there was a 50 cal repeater Jack-in-the-Box thing that went missing. Nobody ever found it. They also detected that they changed the beacon was gone. So they were able to undo the beacon. So basically they could set up their own remote control system and use that 50 cal container thing. This is a remote control 50 cal. That could pop up out of nowhere and just take out, it could take out a plane. These things are just gigantic, and they're insane. That was one of them. There was, we've actually covered nuclear fission. The stuff to make nukes has gone missing. We've got a lot of stuff. A warhead has gone missing. We already have tons of missing warheads, by the way. Just so you guys know, since like the 50s, we've lost like just tons. So who has that stuff and who's able to use it? That's why I said we're waiting for this position to be filled of that next person who's in power or not, who's sick enough to just take out a bunch of stuff. So that's why we have to have faith. That's where that comes in. Joe Adams, what's going on? Charlie, Kim O'Donnell, thank you guys. Call them out. Awesome. Let's see here. Ko Mom, thank you so much for being here. End is near. Thank you so much. Ice creams galore. Tribulation Force, thank you. Bear Lover 92,000. Yes, Adam, we need to keep the faith. End times are here. Have faith. He's coming, says Bad Wolf Gigi. Stormy7572 says, did they find the National Guard Hummer? Stormy, Dex actually just showed you, or said a second ago, which I didn't know. They found it in LA under a bridge. Or in California somewhere under a bridge. So they did find it. Rapture soon 2020. 2021. What a fun year. Woohoo. I see some dead people. It's not a joke. It says Venezuelan girl. Moxie71. Jilly J. Love you, Jesus. Come. Thank you. Star Searcher, I think. Star Searcher? Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your support over there on DLive. So, back to this.
That term on the ship you were just talking about loitering munitions, doesn't that just kind of creep you out? The whole drone swarm thing creeps you out, but just this idea that you would launch munitions and they would just hang out until it's time to be used. So they're just, they may be in a swarm or they may be dispatched over a city and they're just sitting there for however long they can fly and waiting for a target, waiting for someone to walk out of a store, waiting for, whoever they're after, and boom.
So, and then these are motherships, right?
Yeah, this would be the command ship. So this would pull up to, this could pull up to another ship or a shipping lane and deploy, or this could pull up to, a bay or a port near a city and deploy.
Okay, this could actually, and these things could be disguised. Okay, so what we're talking about is along the coastlines, they could have these boats kind of pull up, no humans at risk, and then these things launch these flying drones. The flying drones kind of hover around, look for their targets, and then go in. In the future, not only that, on top of that, the drones will have AI facial recognition, or a facial recognition to the point where it could say, oh, there's a human being, bam, going for that. You could have 10,000 drone swarms, each one, and they're all communicating. We've seen this on TED Talks and some of the technology that's come out. And that was 3-4 years ago. Think about where they're at now, where they communicate, and each one has its own mission. And once it's picked a person to get, all of the rest know that one has that one, so they pick another one. You could send one boat out with 10,000 swarm. Boom. That's 10,000 people. Boom. Done. Think about if you send 100,000 of these ships, or 100, even 100 times 10,000. That's a good chunk of LA just... Not to mention the technology with batteries and everything else. These things could be hovering for hours. So you're hiding somewhere and then you run across an alleyway, it sees you, done. You're ended.
Well, and the interesting thing here is that the ship, or even a mobile unit, if it's not a ship, is taking it there. So it's not wasting any batteries to get it to the closest location. And then it fires it like a cannon and shoots it. So it can go a great distance, like a missile being fired through the air without using any battery. So you can get it to a destination from a distance and not waste any of that battery power you need to then hover and loiter.
Isn't that flipping nuts? I mean, this is absolutely insane stuff. And that's why I said the next conflict will be bonkers. And I think that the collateral damage in the next conflict will be so far worse than any previously because of the equipment and the stuff they have now as far as drones and everything else. Because one of the goals is to damage the people of your enemy as much as possible. That is some scary stuff. And then we have NASA spacecraft mission to asteroid worth more than the global economy of the entire world nears launch. So they're saying that this mission could be worth more money than the entire world has. More money than all of the countries put together. This mission is worth more than that if they can get this successfully, right? It says a NASA mission to send a spacecraft to an asteroid worth so much it could collapse the world's economy is to enter its final phase after the plans cleared a massive hurdle. It says the asteroid, named 16 Psyche, what a weird name, is 252 kilometers wide, nearly 17 times bigger than the asteroid that led to the extinction of dinosaurs millions of years ago. And it says Psyche is made up entirely of nickel and iron, which are the exact same materials as the Earth's core. It says the metal-rich asteroid orbits the sun in the main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. It says this, as well as its sheer size, has led experts to believe that the asteroid is actually the remains of a planet. That's kind of a trip, huh? This thing's pretty giant. Look at that thing. Wow, this is just not saying this is it, but think about that. 17 times bigger than the one that hit and knocked out all the dinosaurs. It says, but the value of just the iron alone, if the asteroid was transported back to Earth, would be 10,000 quadrillion dollars, or 8,072 quadrillion pounds. This would be enough to cause the world's economy, worth $73.7 trillion, to collapse altogether. After an intense review of the mission's progress in building its science instruments and engineering systems, Psyche won clearance to progress into what NASA calls Phase D of its life cycle. So one thing I don't get is, like, at that point, is it, if you have something that's worth that much money, is it even worth money? I mean, like, what is money's physical value anyways? Like, none of our money is actually worth anything. It's even hard to understand when you're looking at the whole thing. It's like it doesn't even make any sense. What do you think, Dex? Like, if you bring home that much, that's not even money. That's iron, right? So nobody can. Yeah,
it's iron. But that I don't know. That's kind of crazy. I think it's, I don't know that, like, it's going to come home and all of a sudden the economy is going to collapse. But they're saying that it could if it was worth that much and they brought it back, right? So. But if the interesting theory, though, is that there are other things just like this and many, many or more, probably billions of things up there that have much more value to us that we probably are, as we continue our space programs, are going to find ways to mine and explore. We've talked about mining on the moon. we talk about mining other asteroids and other things so that we can find metals or other elements that we may need for our own progression, right? So I think that's what's valuable here is, can we get out there? Can we get something and bring it back? I don't know that they're going to actually turn that asteroid around and bring it back, but can they get on it, get some samples out, bring something meaningful back or not?
I thought the thing was going to be covered in diamonds. Like, why do they care that much about? So iron and nickel. So,
yeah, I think it's mostly the iron value, right? But I just think that a mass amount of iron that's there versus what we have available now sounds like it's significant.
I don't know why that kind of cracked me up. Sergeant Bob says unobtainium. Is that a real thing, or I would guess that that's a joke, like it's unattainable, so we're gonna call it unobtainium. Unobtainium. Z2M says $1 million. Would we EMP ourselves if we were invaded by drone swarms? P.S. You are the bee's knees. Actually, I get it. $1 million question. Would we EMP, so electromagnetic pulse, ourselves if we were invaded by drone swarms? You are the bee's knees. Zippy Moons, aka Z2M. That is a great question. That's actually kind of think about that. What if we were that's what I wonder though. Would they build them EMP proof, or how could they do that? Could they do that? Wasn't
that in one of the Matrix, like 3 or something? Didn't they use that as a defense against drone swarms?
Well, yeah, and that's kind of a trip in itself that the Matrix went over all that. Of course, there's lots of stuff about the Matrix,
yeah.
But are you talking about in the scenes where they're in those weird ships that are like...
Exactly, and those AI drone swarms, and I guess maybe in that scenario, like what would we consider something like that as a defense against the machines if the machines were coming? I think the answer is yes.
Like Terminator, right? In fact, it's been used in Terminator movies, I think, one of the older ones. Jeff P., thanks, man. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. That is actually kind of a trip to think about. I don't know, though, because we would have our stuff on the ground as well, I'm sure. But that's why we're drilling to do stuff without power. We're drilling to do stuff without... we're drilling to do stuff without GPS, without anything, without power. We're also drilling our militaries to fight in the dark. Let's see here. And then Jeff P. By the way, if you guys haven't checked out Jeff P.'s channel, he is a larger YouTuber. He does all sorts of basically anything in the skies that is visible to humans. He's done awesome videos. Go over and check him out. He has a wide variety of cool theories, and he has a completely awesome audience just like us. Make sure to go check Jeff P. out. Wait a second. So Jeff P. says that the USC building, the same thing that happened on the 6th, is being raided again now. Wait. That says 2221 on YouTuber channel Stony Stone. You can't make this shite up. We will check it. Dex, will you look into that? The C building over in DC?
Yeah, was that from the 2nd though of February?
That's what it says on there.
Yeah, I think somebody had reported that, and then it didn't turn to be that. So, but I'll look into it. I think I recall seeing that a while back.
I thought it was in our folder. Like I think we did look into that. Jeff B. We will still make sure to check it out and see what's going on with that. And then Stony Stone is a good guy too. He's been around a long time, and he always tries to host us over on D Live when he's live, and which I always thank. I always say he's a really awesome guy. Youper Viking, the world is nuttier than a squirrel turd. Youper. That comment changed my outlook on life. Thank you. B. Stramsons from Norway says, Jets, by the way, B. Stramsness, if I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry, just does 3 jet emojis. Have you seen them? How is Norway? Have you guys been seeing jets flying over? I have family in Oslo and, well, I have family all over Norway, but in Oslo that said that the jets were just going over and over and over. And they weren't their jets. They were American jets. Andrew McCabe, nuke plant on ON during the spring of this year sent out a radiological alert to millions of people. Apparently false alarm. Did you hear of higher readings from independents than silence? MSM said next to nothing. Andrew McCabe, no, I want to look into that too. That sounds really interesting. And then B. Stromsness says, B1, the bones are welcome to Norway. Thanks, Texas. That's awesome. So somebody from Norway is actually thanking Texas for the B1s. Tina, with you 2 years this month. Thank you so much for the priceless information I've gleaned here. Much love to all. Pray without ceasing. Jeff P., thanks. You don't have to support, by the way, you don't have to do all that. Thank you. Lori D., choose brave love. You are a warrior. And then Christian Edwards says, worrying is just praying for what you don't want. Have faith. I like how you put that. See, that is thinking positively. Again, if you guys want to block all of the kind of tracking and things that are going on right now, I don't think people will actually realize how much they are being tracked. I would highly recommend actually looking into one of the E-Deck bags you can put your stuff in. So I met a veteran earlier at the gas station, and his name is Aaron, and he's a good guy. I don't know if you're watching this one right now, but he talked about a lot of stuff, but I was basically standing behind him. I let him go first of all. I saw he had the veteran's hat, and he had a false leg. So he didn't need the false leg for me to know that he, did his time. So I said, go ahead. And I was behind him, and I said, hey, thank you for your service. He says, I appreciate that. He turned back, and he looked at me. Then we ended up getting in a conversation because that quickly turned into us stepping outside the door, and then us being in the way, and then us stepping aside, and then having a conversation about everything that was going on. And he was telling me all sorts of things that are going on right now with him and his friends that are current military, and they're all talking to him. And I'll tell you this, what is happening right now is historic. What is happening right now is very scary. And we have to keep our faith, and we have to make sure that we are keeping our heads up through these really dark times. And we also have to realize that we are all being manipulated, and not to hate the people across the aisle from yourself. What we have to do is really realize that almost everybody is being manipulated in a way. So keep that in mind. The people that you may hate, they hate you for the same exact reason, and I don't think we should hate anybody. I think that we should, try to push as much common sense as possible, and all be trying to give that aha moment to somebody, but do it without being offensive, and do it without shutting them down. Like, once you go to a certain point, people just shut down and they say, I'm not listening to it, I'm walking away. We all have to, work on being patient and doing, putting common sense out there. There's a lot of stuff that can be beat with common sense. He was telling me how he joins the opposite groups that basically he's against, and he goes in there and he usually gets kicked out after a couple days because he's, somebody says a statement. Hey, this guy is this. This guy is racist. Okay, well, show me where he was. And then puts, okay, here's this, and puts the facts out there. Guarantee you, even though he got, gets booted, there might have been 2 or 3 people that go, okay, that's true. Because there are a lot of open-minded people that will continue to keep looking, and that will take the time to actually look that up and fact-check it. I think that if we all do this collectively, then we will start to get somewhere. But again, if you don't want to be tracked and traced, because they are doing that right now for current events, I would highly recommend getting an E-Deck bag. These you can put your keys. In fact, you can put your keys, your wallet, anything that has a signal, and it will stop all signals going in and out, therefore not tracking your whereabouts. but also it can protect against other things as well. So again, go to this one. They also have a tried and true utility bag. They use these so nobody. They actually use these for FBI evidence bags. They work with a lot of agencies because if you have anything that you don't want somebody remotely accessing, you put it in one of these. Go to marfooglenews.com/edict. They have all different size bags. They even have one that fits directly on your phone. You slide your phone in and boom, it's done. These bags that are on this advertisement here, those are the big ones. But you can get the cell phone one that will fit in your pocket and boom, you're off grid. That's why they call them off grid.
They even have a duffel bag. They even have a duffel bag. I want that. That's really cool. You can put all your gear in it.
So somebody said, well, how if we had an EMP, how would it protect my keys? Doesn't EDEC have a product for that?
Yeah. There's a keychain bag. It's a little keychain pouch, and it's got a holder for your key, so you can open the pouch, flip your key out, use it, and then tuck it back in. I think the real thing, certainly protecting the key from an EMP, but also the thing that you got to think about is there are these devices, these radio devices you can use where you can clone a key. So if you're using your key and you use it once, actually they have to walk by you and they can pick up the RFID off the keychain. And then when you use it once, they can then roll the signal again. And now they have a way to unlock your car anytime you walk away in a parking lot. So if you keep it in this pouch, then nobody can ever do that.
Some James Bond stuff, man. And the same with your credit card. That's why people do the RFID blocking wallets, is because now they have people with machines that can walk up and tap your pocket, because everybody's trying to do this whole tap and pay stuff. I've never done the tap and pay. My wife has used it for the cash machine a couple times, and I just don't like it. I mean, you're tapping and paying wirelessly, and then what that is that's the first steps of them getting you used to tapping and wirelessly tapping something. And then all of a sudden they'll go, oh, it's convenient. Put it in your wrist. It's just a little small implant. You don't even feel it. And then you're tapping. You guys know what that is. All right. We're trying to catch up on a lot of older stuff too, because over the last 3 days we had so many problems with our internet. I'm so glad. Let us know how this one went. Was there any buffering? Was there any bad trips? Again, we didn't do calls because we had to get caught up on this stuff, and also we also had to reset our entire phone service. So thank you guys for being patient. Next show that we have will have phone calls, so make sure to tune in for that. It is my daughter's 6th birthday on Sunday, so we are doing a bunch of stuff to get ready. We're going to have, a small little family birthday party. Don't know if we will be on tomorrow, but I will try to put on a show. My family comes first, as always, but you guys are my other family. So, again, you guys come right behind. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Dex, thank you, my internet brother.
Sure thing. And everybody, don't forget, there's more content on the website. So there's all the news that we can't and didn't have time for, or we can't go over on the show, is right there on the website. So go to marfooglenews.com, click on this show's thumbnail, and scroll down. You will see the rest of the stories.
So this first story is what I talked to this vet about, and he gave me a firsthand account of what's going on, and it's really scary. And it's not scary. You guys have to understand, the people on one side are not looking at this. They're cheering for it now, but just wait. It's going to change later. TCF Center, all of this, there's tons of stuff here. There's videos, all sorts of extra content. Marfooglenews.com. This is all stuff that basically is not acceptable. You can get on our website, and only our website. All right, thank you guys, and thank you everybody. It is now officially time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout. Out. It's a kababob. Chicago. Chicabob. Chicago. Chicago. I think I screwed that up. It's a shoutro. By the way, Mama of 6, thank you. Mockingbird 0-1. Thank you guys. Lisa K, Kelly2334, it's such a pleasure to see you tonight. Susan Donahue, thank you. Gone Girl 777, wherever you are, if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for being awesome. You are a Foogle fam friend. Nuclear War, thank you so much for the diamond. Veteran Steve, thank you for your service and thank you for being an amazing person. Miss Jackson, Respiratory Jane, Earth Observer, Vault 111, Deep State of Mind, Tall Drink of Water.
2, 3, 4, 5. Marfoogle News is so live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Marfoogle News is so live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Marfoogle News is so live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Marfoogle News is so live.
I just wanna go right on my big old bike and a Teresa with a TLC with a recalcitrant and the SG wailing. I love Jesus forever gailing all the way down in the bell shadow. Bring it right back and you gotta go loud. Oh, gotta bring it right back. Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Marfoogle News is so live.
I like the way that you truth me. 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 Gotta go, bring it back, going right back now. Nope, not that one. Not feeling it. Oh. Hey, the beat. Life is a cheat code and I got it down. Upright, and left hand down. Life is a cheat code and I got it down. Upright, and left hand down. Life is a got it down, upright, up. Got the stoplight.
Got the back light. That ain't riding. Lisa K23.
Thank you. Oh, I love this one. I've been trying to look for this forever.
rocking, going back on home. Got to, I'm going alone. And man now, with my kitty, bring it. With all such shitty hot now, with the cooking delicious, bring it. And also delicious, oh no, with the wisdom now. 2001. Snapper, without no be, I bring it like I do. I say, I wake to. I love a big lace, so now with the big stewie. With the big saxon, go now, with the big gun down, gone now, with the duty dollar, bring now, with the big block out, oh now, with the Coach Maria, now, with the Jana Mia, Pia, gonna bring him a Mr. Sia, gonna go now, I see ya, on the bigger Tia, the Prada and the Gia, gonna do it like never see ya, with Andy on the Guama, gonna do it like old Obama, I'm doing it, no mama, of 6 and I the hoodoo, gonna be a danga who know, I got a brain. The sun, gotta do it like apple bars.
Oh no, I do it everywhere we love. Gotta bring it on back.
I've got the Mercer wine, I've got the never done, something like the day 3:15. I said I love you, just like I do Mickey Mouse 2.0 with the Ecto WV prepared mind. I do it all the time. Gen X voice and the mind of the amazing. Gotta do it now. It's all fit. It's the end and it is shit. Sean K. John, bring it right back like K. John. Wait now with the Kim Jong. I'm gonna bring it back with a major run. Do it right like the Whitlock. Never did I see the way they did them. I bring Team Ramrod and Mrs. Jam Jam with the Smoky Mountain Gal and my big old super pal with my Lisa Renee and my big old Lori D. With the Adonoke, I bring it all the way down with the Amelio Riaricas and the Beacon Phil. I love DJ forever and I bring it like the real. With the unknown Mr. Xenox and everybody stick. Gotta bring it on back on down. Gotta see on that sound. Gotta beat that Mercer wine. And you got that super fun. They got a bum bum, baby, they bum bum, baby, da ba dum bum, baby, they be dum. the MS Sing Priscilla R, Artemis a fire, Mrs. Cumming and Kimberly a Clemens. Call 'em out, call 'em out, call 'em out now. Call 'em out, call 'em out, call 'em out now. Trudy's out there, Trudy's out, out. Gotta bring it down, gotta bring it down.
Tower bear going down. Tower bear going down. Tower bear going down. Tower bear going down. Tower bear going down. Tower bear going down. Tower bear going down. Tower bear going down. Tower bear going down.
I was running with the Z2 and bring it back now like the jam with the sample beat and that sense, and gonna do it like I did before.
Zippy moons.
Zippy moons.
Zippy
Zippy moons. It was about the zippy moons.
Zippy moons.
Zippy moons. It was all about that, bring it back. With the Sandra Levi in the bigger back. With the BJ Blake on the back of back. And they did it right back, now they know how to act. With the captain on 7 and everybody leaving. Going right back round and they better be believing us. Not puppy and the mama of 6 and the barefoot lass and the bigger on chicks and the bringing with the tall drink of water. Rearing with the Green Bay way lotta. Going to do back round and they know that father ain't gonna go far with the one more father.
Zippy moons.
Zippy. There's only one way, at least it can't. 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 Spenny 340, haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for the suggestion, Tile. Gonna bring it back on a while. Gotta bring it down. Gotta bring it down. There's only one way, at least it can't. There's only one way, at least it can't. I gotta bring it down, down, down.
I gotta bring it down.
I gotta bring it down.
There's only one way, at least it can't. Jessica Lynn and the gas electric. Going right back like a big Mac back. And the go on my back with the BJ back on my backpack. I'm about to go back, never ever see that gas electric. And gotta do is track like a duck the hog. Oh what? Now they all park. Buffington 95 with the Cupid reviewer. And everybody whoop it. Beat up with the beat tactics. TV. with everybody fat tricks like the big fat pigs. Fat pig now signals, AF signal on the biz no. Now I gotta get my pizzo, bring it on back now like Mr. Rizzo. Now I gizza, oh God, gizza, Lizzo. Now I'm about to go back in the list you. I hold now, grab my tissue. If you're on the left and I don't miss you, bring it right back, Jessica Lynn. Oh, now doing it in the end. Gotta be back now, I say a friend. That's French for N. Special thank you to Z2M, aka Zippy Moons, Lisa K, 23. Tower Bear, always there. And Menching, never clenching. Priscilla R, never far. Artemis Fire, Desire. Mrs. Cummings, not going there. Kimberly Clemens. Call them out. The truth is out there.
You guys have a great night. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out. I've got the wiki. Gotta go kick it with all my friends and I go through the thick of it. Now I bring you the music. Do it every day. Now I do it. Thank you, Z2M and all of them. Oh, thank you, Lisa K23. Me, I've never gonna say nothing big. Hey, with the trumpet bear. Oh, you'll always be there. Caramba! Got the bummer, hey, with the Jeff P. Munna. Oh, now not gonna see until summer. Tanya with the Mrs. Athena. Bring it right back like, oh, Tina! Yeah, now I got a subpoena. Just to go back round, see ya, bored, gonna be bored. Oh, Marty, I got to say. Oh, now following all the way. It is a way and we follow back. 1986, oh yeah. Visit on the Marfoogle News, I die. Come now, Patreon, be on name. If you want to, I'll join me. Gotta go back, now you gotta say. Oh, thank you for the love. For love. Zippy Moons. Zippy Moons. I love you. Have a good night, y'all. Marfoogle.